March 13th, 2023 at 6:30 to order, and it is 6:30. On the agenda, call to order, Pledge of Allegiance, visitors' comments, under old business, Church Street Properties, reconsider vote for appointment of Lisa Condit to the Master Plan Community Development Advisory Committee from December 5. Other old business, new business, Visitation Finance Committee with FY 2024 budget discussion, approval of minutes from October 10, 2022, October 24, 2022, November 7, 2022, November 9, 2022, November 21, 2022, December 5, 2022, December 19, 2022. Appointments, Council on Aging, Kate Morial. Approval of renewal Class 3 for Leo Tamkis. Solitude Lake Management Contract Update. Annual election warrant April 10, 2023, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Other new business, discussion and or vote ARPA funding, committee reports, miscellaneous correspondence, town administrator report, signatures and approvals, selectmen roundtable, and adjournment. Okay. So if you wouldn't mind, if we can rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Are there any comments from visitors relative to any item of business that is not on the agenda for tonight? Nicole, hands or anything? I don't see any. Okay. Hearing none, we'll move on to old business. The Church Street properties, do you have any update on those, Nicole?
I don't have an update right now, no. We're just keeping them on there, but I don't have anything.
Okay. Second item under old business is reconsider vote for appointment of Lisa Condit to the Master Plan Community Development Advisory Committee from December 5th. At our last meeting, we talked about needing to rescind that vote. And I think we were just trying to formalize what meeting date it was. I don't know if there's any discussion on this, Kelly or Rob, if you have any questions. I think it's a simple motion.
Yeah, I don't have any questions.
So if there are
make a motion.
That would be great.
Okay, I would make a motion to rescind our vote for appointment of Lisa Condit to the Master Plan Community Development Advisory Committee from our meeting on December 5th, 2022.
Second that.
It was moved by Kelly, seconded by Rob. Any other discussion? Hearing none, since we are on Zoom, we need to call the roll. Kelly?
Aye.
Rob?
Aye.
And Julie is a yes, so the motion carries. So you'll let her know, Nicole, that we fixed that appointment. We did.
Yeah.
We had previously appointed her to the other committee, I think, last time. So this is just a cleanup. Anything else under other old business? That we need to talk about? I think maybe just an update or, well, let's wait. We can maybe do that under town administrator report. If there's nothing else, finance is here. So you probably want to open your meeting, finance, so that because you have your members on. So do you want to open your meeting?
Yeah, we can officially open the Finance Committee meeting on March 13th at 6:34.
Thank you, Keenan. Nicole, do you, is someone going to share the screen? Does someone have the ability to share the screen?
I can share mine.
Okay, that'd be great.
Sorry, it's not up. Hold on just a second.
Can everyone see that? Okay. Thanks, Nicole. I'm not sure how we want to go through this. Are there any suggestions on how we want to proceed in looking at this, or?
I'd like some direction from the Board of Selectmen, because it is your budget in the end. It's not looking very good right now with the school budget in the place it is. And we need to come up with a plan as to how we're going to push back on the school budget.
So included in this, Nicole, is this the assessment that we received based on the meeting the other night?
Yeah, that's got the 10.41% increase they're looking for.
This is just 10.
10, straight 10.
I don't know. This is 10. I don't know how to. Could I just put 10.4 in the?
You can.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna punch in these numbers.
You can just do equals if you want, and it'll go over.
I don't know how to do that either. So if we give them 10.5%, now I will say, I'm sorry. I don't know if you want me to talk or.
Go right ahead. I want to hear your.
I'm not sure about the insurances yet. We don't have all of the prices for the insurance. I did meet with Blue Cross Blue Shield, and it's through Maya, and they're 10.5%. So our health insurance has gone up a lot. I don't know that I did that. But the other insurances, general, workman's comp, police, like those numbers aren't out yet.
And everything's going up this year.
So not a popular item to maybe talk about with regard to insurance and such. Remind me on what we currently have in place. We have some folks who are on 90/10 still.
3.
And then the rest is 85.
75-25.
75-25.
Okay.
I'm not doing this right. Equals. I mean, how do? If I want this to go
1.105. So put 1.105. If it's a 5% increase, is it a 10?
No, it's a 10% increase.
So 1.105 is 10.5.
Yep.
Sorry. I think this is right.
No, it should be 100. Sorry, 100.105. I'm sorry, Nicole.
Okay.
No,
Is
that's
that right?
No, that isn't right.
How about
11? Yeah, no, it's 110. Sorry, 0.5. Can you tell it's tax season? It's 110.5. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's better.
Somebody wants to come in. So
There was a sizable increase in Worcester County retirement too, wasn't it?
There was.
this is everybody's wish list right here. This is giving everybody everything that they're requesting. which is significant or increases in expenses, and 2% raises last year. Everybody was aware that from here on out, beside the contracted people that haven't been negotiated yet, will be getting 2% increases. And then the red column level funds expenses, but still gives raises. And we're still $279,855.
And
Sure.
what's the last column, Nicole?
The last column was literally basically last year's budget, level funding everything and not giving anybody a raise.
Except for the school, correct?
Well, the school is still getting their 10.5%. Yeah.
Do you have Pathfinder's assessment in there also?
I think I put in placeholder because that's Wednesday night. Sorry, I'll find it. Here we go.
It's right there.
Pathfinder, I added 4%.
So I can tell you, we're probably looking at that number is probably about 230, if you wanted to use that as an estimate.
And the thing is, too, is I'm not sure about Smith. I guess this is the week that is the deadline. And so that leads me to another conversation, which I did not bring up at the school committee meeting last week because I know my audience. But I don't know if there's a limit on how many school choices we can allow.
No.
They just can, to me, it doesn't seem appropriate to bus somebody all the way to Northampton, or to have Northampton as a school choice.
So the reason that Smith, and we've had I'm just going to take off my Selectmen's hat for a second and put on my Pathfinder hat. So the reason that these students are able to go to Smith is because Smith offers a program that Pathfinder does not offer. We are very much paying attention to students who go to Smith looking to do agriculture and switch into a vocation that Pathfinder has. We're actually trying to claw those students back into Pathfinder, which would be covered in our assessment. So the superintendent and this would be a great question to pose to him on Wednesday night. The superintendent has been working with, other folks relative, and even with the Smith administration, to make sure that if it's a student that really should be at Pathfinder, they are at Pathfinder. And we're not paying the additional assessment for Smith. But that's what it is. It's a vocation that's not offered at Pathfinder. That's Smith.
Okay. What about Tantasqua? Do they also have a program? I did see that obviously Smith had agriculture and not just horticulture.
Right. We've had students go there before, so that's why that's there.
And I got the regional assessments, so those are all accurate in there. Building, council on aging, and ambulance.
So
ambulance should be pretty accurate. I don't have exact figures from West Brookfield, but verbally he gave me the amount, so that should be in there. We go here. Accounting went up to 85. I don't have the letter yet, but I had a meeting with them. This 25 is a pretty big increase, but it's the 5-year
Right.
reval, so there's nothing that we can do about that. So on the school meeting the other night, was there discussion of the extra funds that the state has provided? I'm having a mental block on what it was called, but it's sort of like the state has made the realization that our area has been significantly underfunded, and so I think it's the Student Act funds are significantly higher. Did they give you any idea on what they're planning on using those funds for? Because they could they could be used to reduce assessments. That's not ideally what they want them to do with the extra funds, but you'll hear about this on Wednesday night also with regard to Pathfinder, but some districts or some areas got significantly more state aid. And
Yeah, the Student
Opportunity Act.
Opportunity Act, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly about, I know that they took some and reduced the assessment, 50,000, I think. I know that they want to keep, maybe it wasn't the SOA, but it was another line item that they want to keep, to let it keep growing because they have other teachers now in the ESSER. They took them out of their general fund and they're paying them through the ESSER money, but that runs out in FY24. So it's like, that's how they want to keep the teachers, but it didn't seem very sustainable. But again, even their numbers are still coming in. So they did say they're hoping to reduce the assessment more on the towns, and that we all understand that we're just headed for, she called it a death spiral. It's just not sustainable at all. So I'm not exactly sure about that, but they have some sort of they get reimbursed for their transportation, but they don't put that in the assessment either because they are never sure if they're going to have another kid. I don't know. There was, I'm not exactly as involved in schools. I'm not as well versed as the town because really this is my first regional school. So, so I'm not as familiar, but I know that they're looking to try to reduce the assessment. I don't know where or how.
Well, this was their initial assessment. Hubbardston got tapped for 14%. Barry got tapped for 14%. OPM, I'm trying to remember it off the top of my head. Somewhere around the same as we were with OPM, and New Braintree was around 8%. But they said they were coming back because they don't have solid state numbers to work with yet. But I don't, starting that high, I don't see them coming back with level funding from last year.
No.
Nicole, there's a question in the chat about from Glenn on how much money did they get for COVID. I don't think we know the answer to that, right? I don't think that was specifically. They got it in multiple. They got some from us for the town. We turned over some of our money.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if other towns did, but maybe we can reach out to the school and ask that question.
I can't see the chat, so okay. There were. That's what the ESSR funding was from. So I think they got a pretty significant amount, but I don't know for sure. I don't know exactly off the top of my head.
I know the initial round was used to buy computers for every kid because of all the homeschooling that went on with the initial round. I wasn't involved.
That's what we gave our money for.
Yeah, and I wasn't involved after that, so I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I think there was a big need for making sure that all of the students had technology so that they could be.
Yeah. That was the initial push when they first got their funds, and we actually contributed some of our funds to that as well.
We did. I can't remember. We had the amount, but I can't remember what it was. But it was fairly significant, I think.
105,000, I believe.
Yes, that was. I was going to say 100 off the top of my head, but.
So from a finance committee perspective, I know you were meeting with the individual departments. Keenan, who have you guys met with so far in person?
We've met with the police. We've met with fire. We've met with highway. I keep looking at all these budgets, and it's not going to be realistic for the requests they have in for this year, for sure.
It's not.
The money's just not there.
So just looking at sort of, let's look at the bottom line. Maybe we could just look at the bottom line where we were, the last page, Nicole. And so in your analysis here, so the 4,501,000 that you have, can you go up a little bit? So that 4,501,000, which is on, yeah. So that's 2.5 of last year. And we're saying conservatively that we're going to have 2.5% of growth. Do we know what actual growth was last year? That's, I guess, we budgeted.
I don't. That's a good question. I'll see.
Yeah. So maybe we're going to have to tweak all of that, the numbers above, but maybe if we can at least make sure we're comfortable. And we're saying, so the 2.5 is of,
4.5 doesn't make sense to me because I don't know where it came from.
It just came from here.
But we're adding 5%, 2.5% in down below that.
yeah.
Right. This is the 2.5%.
But where did we got 4,391,799 for this last year.
That should go over.
No, the 4,557 should.
Yeah.
So it's actually a little lower.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not sure why we don't carry over from the year prior to the 4,391. That might have been actual. So I think we need some help with Jen on this part. So if anything, the 4,557, which is the prior year levy limit, would come over, and then you'd add 2.5%.
Right.
Okay. I'll ask Jen tomorrow if we are all in. Otherwise Wednesday. And I did send it over to Lori DeLolio, who said the numbers look right. But I guess it's right.
That number would move over, and then 2.5 of that is 113,930.
Can I just do that right now?
Yeah.
That's the same number I get there for the 2.5.
You carry it into the other two lines as well.
No. Go away now.
Nicole, can you mute that?
What?
Can you mute that, please?
Oh, I see. When I'm sharing my screen, I don't get to see everything.
And so, just sort of following down here, the numbers for the Stanton County offsets, the cherry sheet offsets, and the estimated state receipts come off the cherry sheets.
Yeah.
Yeah, the governor's numbers were lower than last year, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I called them too, and they said they're probably not changing.
Well, we got to wait for the Senate numbers and the legislature's numbers, and then they
And
usually
this
work something else. But I don't see this year being a growth year.
So it was.
It looks a little bit better already. Look at that.
Every little bit's going to help.
That's honest to God.
And the estimated local, the 1,119,000, is that from Jen also?
No, that's just from the increase from 22 to 23. So I just added the same amount, 127,766.
Can we see what actually came through in 2020?
Okay.
And just have Jen maybe weigh in on that number?
Yeah.
Yeah, she typically weighs in on all these numbers at the bottom,
Yep.
and she's a pretty good resource for that.
I keep going to her every day asking her for some new growth.
So, I mean, I guess thinking of possible strategies, you know, if you look at what our big numbers are on here, I mean, things we can't change, like we can't change Worcester County retirement. Everybody got a really significant increase in there. And I think we've gotten increases since they had their audit a couple years ago. We've gotten some fairly sizable increases year over year. I don't know. Does anyone have thoughts on how they want to sort of approach this?
I don't know if I don't even know what, if I know in the past we've gone back to the departments and asked, them to cut a percentage. I'm not sure what that percentage would need to be.
Well,
like I said, some things we can't change.
Yeah, I mean, it would almost seem that we need to make sure that our numbers on the bottom are, we feel comfortable with those.
I agree. So we really have an accurate picture.
Yeah.
Is it, I don't know if it makes sense to share this at this stage just so that departments, are aware of what we're looking at? As a, kind of like a starting head up.
Well, I mean,
I just wanted to have an open dialogue with you guys to start. I think we still have some work to do. We've got to get some numbers back. We've got to get the school assessment down before we start to hatchet everything.
I don't disagree there. But who knows when we'll know that either.
Well, it's just a time.
They've got a lot of definitely a lot of ticking time bombs per se that they're waiting for.
Yep, they're in the same shape the towns are in. But I just wanted to make sure we're all on the same page with this. Because I think, looking at it, if we slash their assessment in half, which is typical of what they usually end up coming back with, 4 to 5%, we're still in the hole.
Mm-hmm. You want to just do the exercise of 5%?
Well, you could throw it in there just to see. Do it over on the last page, on the last column. Just toss it in on the last column and see what it does.
Well, I won't be able to. Let me just do it here. It'll be a little easier, and then I can always undo it.
That's fine.
Oh no.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
It is?
Correct.
Yep.
We're about halfway there.
Right.
So basically 10%.
That's with a wish list.
Right.
If you put it on the next one,
see what yeah.
That ends up being, I have it open on my screen, but I didn't make all the tweaks that Nicole had. So it ends up being like 115 or 110,000 over in the red column if you move that assessment over there.
Yeah, she's done that now.
Equals M 111. False.
Do you want to
Take take the M11 out of the end.
Oh no. Can you guys see?
would it be easier if I shared? I have it up on my screen. Would it be easier for you if I shared?
Yeah, why don't you?
I no offense, Nicole, but I might be slightly a little better at Excel.
Do I have to let you share or can you just share?
You have to let me share, please. Okay. Oh, it still says it's disabled. You might have to make me a co-host or turn it over to me as host.
Yeah, I just had to do that.
Okay. Well, that's not helpful, is it?
We can see it.
Can you see the screen?
Yep.
Okay. So, okay. So what was the other tweak we made? We changed the insurance, and what did the insurance go up to?
Around 240.
Okay, it was the prior times what percent did you say, Nicole?
10%.
10.5.
Here we go again.
110.
Okay. Oh, good God. You have
The note keeps coming up.
you have these little pop-ups in there. Okay. All right. So if we go down, so it's at 130. That's with the school at. They did not put the increase in for the placeholder and for Pathfinder, so let me do that.
So it
So,
would be 140 then, right?
yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I'll fix this part here. So 228, 82, and 16.
I mean, the right-hand side is really, 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 scary.
Well, that's with nothing added except for the school.
Right.
That's with no raises for anyone, correct?
With nothing.
Except for the schools.
So maybe questions we could ask of Jen, just a suggestion if we're talking to her about numbers. In the past, we've used a little bit of overlay. Do we have any excess overlay? I know she's rightly so conservative for that, but is there any overlay we could potentially use? In terms of the debt exclusion, with what we're doing with, is that debt exclusion sewer related?
Half and half.
So is that going to change based on part of the ban being covered?
The problem was with that ban, just the interest was, we were just paying the interest, so it was only a few $1,000s, or it wasn't making a big difference on that $2 million that was just paid off because we weren't paying any principal to it yet.
But does that 35 include? Does that 35 include the interest on that?
No.
It does not.
Nope.
Okay.
The only thing that I can say is, like I said, the insurances. Julie, do you want to hover over one of them? I might have just put in a placeholder. Not minus sewer share, but the 58,408 maybe, the general insurance.
Mhm.
I think you have to, yeah. So that's 11%. So maybe that's not going to be 11%.
Well, I mean, I think if you look, so sorry to give you whiplash moving through the worksheet, but if you sort of go line, if you go, the other thing that would be helpful, and I think we got this from, sorry, it's on my other screen, so I am paying attention, but I have to look at my other screen to see the worksheet. So if I feel like I'm looking elsewhere, it's because I'm looking at the worksheet. But maybe it's a good exercise to see what the actual expenditures have been so far, and sort of annualize that. I think that's what we've done in years past, is sort of look at what the expenses are and see if we can trim some of these a little bit to be more realistic numbers. Because we had free cash came in fairly significant. So what that means to me is we either underestimated our receipts, or we underspent, or we were more diligent or better off from our budget. So maybe there's something there that we can either tweak on the receipt side or tweak on the expense side.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, the unfortunate thing about that is from what I did ask Lori. I actually asked her for 5 years so I could look at what the trend was over the last 5 years. And all she could do was get me a PDF of every, I wasn't able to line it up with these line items. Like in my Munis software, the stuff I use in my other town, you could just export it right over here and it would just be right there. But we can do it line by line.
If you can, so do you have the final PDFs by year of what was spent by line?
Sort of, yes.
If you get those to me, I'll get the worksheet created.
Okay.
I'll get it into Excel, and we'll do a 5-year trend analysis on each of these lines, and then we can maybe also compare to where we're at year to date for this year.
Where are we at on free cash for this year? Has that all been certified?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Has the free cash been certified?
207. But we're going to be over $100,000 stone ice by tomorrow.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Are there any particular lines that we want to look at, or just do you think it makes sense to put that analysis together? Have Jen take a look at the numbers and see if she can put some magic on them, and then maybe look at where we are year to date.
Yeah, for sure.
It wouldn't hurt to just step back and let Jen always needs to review it anyway. And then if you can look at where our expenditures are for the year so far, it would help out immensely if we had that report on a monthly basis.
Yeah, I just actually requested it and looked at it, and I think I forwarded it to you and Rob, Julie, last week.
You did. I mean,
yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just saying. I mean, it looked like the departments look like they're kind of on track, so nothing was crazy about it.
Well, sometimes your free cash is stuff that is your taxes that are behind from previous years that show up. So you'd have to look and really analyze the free cash and see where it's being generated from.
Well,
it may not be out of the budget at all.
Well, and maybe looking at what our assumptions were last year for purposes of coming up with a budget for receipts and what actually happened. That could be useful as well.
Agreed.
Are there any particular lines you want to look at, or we're good with just that approach for now?
Well, let's get this stuff moving forward with like Jen, and you can analyze the free cash, and then no sense beating it to death at this point where we don't have really good numbers from anybody.
Right.
Just wanted everybody to be on the same page to know it's going to be a lot of work to get this balanced for the new year.
Indeed.
It seems to be the flavor that we go through every year. So
It is. It's not fun.
Okay, so I think we have a good approach. I'm going to stop sharing unless anyone wants to talk specifically about the worksheet.
Glenn, do you have anything to say as far as the budget?
Glenn, you're muted.
No, just that, like you said, Keenan, I believe it's a little too high. We're going to have to work on getting it down. 10% is a pretty huge increase. My concern is what they got for COVID money and what they spend it on. And the schools that we work in, it looks like they're getting millions of dollars, and I'd like to know what they've been spending it on.
Okay. Leon, anything?
What's that? Can you hear me?
No, I was just asking Leon if he had anything to say.
He's muted.
Okay.
No, he's unmuted now.
Yeah, anything, Leon?
Not really. Like you said, there's a lot of questions yet. I like to see what they did with their money also. But anyway, that's about all I have right now.
Okay. All right. I'll take a motion to adjourn the Finance Committee meeting.
Make a motion to adjourn the Finance Committee.
Second.
All those in
Second.
favor? All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Thank you. Thank you, Board of Selectmen.
Thank you. So for the record,
Aye.
it was adjourned at 7:12.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, anything else from a selectman perspective that we want to talk about with regard to the budget, or we're good with where we're at and the approach? So just on the to-dos, Nicole, you're going to send me those PDFs. I'll get the Excel created. I will also reach out to Lori D to get another updated one after the next warrant run. So we can just put the expenditures in here. And we'll update the worksheet. And then you'll check with Jen. Let Jen work her magic on this. And we'll evaluate the receipts. Perhaps we can take a look at the receipts that we use to estimate, and then the actual receipts. Anything else? Anything else on the budget? Okay.
I'm good.
Next item on the agenda are minutes for October 10, October 24, November 7, November 9, November 21, December 5, and December 19. Those are all 2022 minutes. Has everyone had a chance to review those minutes?
I have.
Rob?
Yeah, I'm all set with them.
Okay.
I can't remember what happened that far back, so
Yeah.
hoping they're right.
I think these were actually some of the ones that I had some comments on that were tweaked too.
Okay. Okay.
I'm
So
happy to make a motion.
that would be perfect. Thank you.
I would make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from October 10th, 2022, October 24th, 2022, November 7th, 2022, November 9th, 2022, November 21st, 2022, December 5th, 2022, and December 19th, 2022.
Second that.
So it was moved by Kelly and seconded by Rob. Any other discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, I will call the roll. Kelly,
Aye.
Rob,
Yes.
and Julie is a yes, so the motion carries. Next on the agenda that I have is the appointment, and we have Council on Aging of Kate Morial.
Do we know, I know we asked people if they wanted to be appointed to, go to that specific department group, commission board. Do we know if she's done that?
Yeah, I was actually at the last Council on Aging meeting where they all recommend to ask me to have her appointed. They didn't, not a lot of them have computers or anything like that, so I said I'd relay it. So
Okay, perfect.
I've been going to all of the Council on Aging meetings.
I'm happy to make another motion then, Julia, if you want one.
Uh-huh.
I would make a motion to appoint Kate Morrell to the Council on Aging for Hardwick.
Second that.
Moved by Kelly, seconded by Rob. Any other discussion? And this is with the approval of the recommendation of the Council on Aging members. Hearing none, I will call the roll. Kelly,
Aye.
Rob,
Yes.
and Julie is a yes, so the motion carries. In your packet, you should have the approval of the renewal Class 3 license for Leo Tamkus. Is this one that was just missed, Nicole?
Apparently, yeah, he came in and said either he forgot, he came in to see Angie, either he forgot or didn't get it.
Okay.
So he submitted everything that you should have in your packet and he paid for it.
Okay.
You want me to do a motion?
Yes, as long as there's no questions on it or issues with the application. I don't see any, but I don't know if anybody else has questions. Rob, are you good with that?
I'm all set.
If you're ready to make a motion.
Okay. I would make a motion to approve the renewal Class 3 license for Leo Tamkus. Looks like he does business as L&S Used Auto Parts.
Second that.
Motion was made by Kelly, seconded by Rob. Any other discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I will call for a vote. Kelly,
Aye.
Rob,
Yes.
and Julie is a yes, so the motion carries. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the Solitude Lake Management Contract update. And I see that we've got Gary and Bill on here. So if you guys want to unmute yourself and give us an update, that'd be great.
Thanks, Julie. Hi, everybody. So I'm sitting here in my vice president capacity for the Hardwick Pond Preservation Association. And obviously you remember Gary's face. Gary's the president. We just asked for a little bit of time. Can we take a couple of minutes, basically just to alert the board to an upcoming contract that we're going to need help with? By help, we simply mean signatures. I think you all remember that we were lucky enough to have the state route some money through the town. The town was good enough to host the contract and babysit the money for us. We have a little bit left. Gary can talk a little bit about that in a second. And this year, we think we've done what we need to have some good conversation with the state. We're hoping we're going to be allowed to treat. And that means that Solitude is going to be submitting a contract for the remainder of what we have in our account. We'll have to pay some additional money, but basically we're going to clean out our account. So I think we're expecting that maybe sometime by mid-April, we will have Solitude send a contract to the town. And the reason we wanted to brief you is just to kind of like pave the way, because we really need to be treating by early May in order to meet the weed schedule and get ahead of, the biology. In order to do that, we have to have everything lined up in April. So it'll be this kind of last minute thing where we have a contract submitted to the town and we have to beg you guys for signatures. So that's all we're doing, is trying to alert you. Gary, you want to add your thoughts to how much might be left, or any other comments?
Well, I'd like to say a couple things. First of all, hi, Nicole. I haven't met you yet. Sorry. It wasn't intentional. But anyway, yeah, and Bill will remind you that he shouldn't have ever gone to his door when I knocked on it after retiring from medical sales in the Philadelphia area, where I went from here down to, and because it added more stuff on his plate as a biologist. So, but anyway, we want to thank the town for all the help they've been so far. To start with, let's start with that. We were able to get bond funding because we worked with Senator Goby and her staff to do that. That bond funding was $67,500. We also got some other funding through the Hardwick Pond Preservation Association, nothing to do with the town, but for the same only body of water in town that is actually a lake or large pond, other than the Quabbin that's nearby over here. So we appreciate all the help we've had so far. So by storing the money in the town, that was able to get us more money from the state than we expected. Okay? And so up to this date, what I think we have, and I think we're pretty close on this, if we're off by a couple of bucks, it's not a big deal, but I think that with the field testing that we had to do and the initial start to this in 2018, where we filed some for the town, Solitude Lake Management had to file for some expenses. So when you take the money that was done at that point, that $67,500, we have since spent $42,702 on doing things because of our work with Natural Heritage and Endangered Species Program, to be able to kind of clear up all the words out there about what we have to do here as a group. And so that would tell me that we've got roughly $24,798 left for 2023. But what we're proposing, and Bill mentioned it, what we're going to propose as we sit down with Heritage very shortly, based on what we did in 22, is allowing us to treat the whole pond. So if that happens, then we will need to go dig in and get the rest of the bond funding, but we also, as the Hardwick Pond Preservation Association, will have a contract with Solitude Lake Management as well. We'll be on the same contract, and we'll be responsible for a lot of money. So that's kind of where we are, but we don't have that approval yet, and that's what we're working on. Bill has got some stuff that he's working with not only Solitude Lake Management, but also the herbicide manufacturer, to get that to them so we can clear up where we are for 2023. And as Bill said, you can't do this last minute, because if you're going to treat the pond, you have to treat it early.
So let me just add my 2 cents here. So maybe, Nicole, I can pester you yet one more time to just check with Lori, or however you do your magic in there, and let us know what's left in the account. I can give you the number right now if you want to write it down.
Okay.
The account number is 208 000 1040 0000, and that's titled Solitude Lake Management Grant. So if you can if somebody like Lori can check behind the scenes and see what's left there, we will make sure Solitude builds for that amount, and then whatever we need to make up as the difference, we'll take care of for ourselves with the association. Gary talked with the company that does the lake treating, and it's probably going to cost us $62,000 total. So whatever we have in there is going to get cleaned out, and then we're going to add to it. And hopefully this year, because of all of our efforts the last few seasons testing on the pond, we'll get to treat the whole lake, and we'll. It's still a bit of an experiment, but the weeds were bad enough, so we're hoping that this is going to help alleviate the problem.
We want Hardwick Pond to be here for a long time, for everybody from town, including the boat landing that's here, and how those weeds came in back in 1969.
Yeah, and I think, and you all know, and Keenan knows, you've heard from us before, you know, we're only a mile from the Quabbin, and we managed to get recognition from them that cleaning up the weed problem here would be a great benefit to Quabbin too, because that way no Canada goose could fly over the hill and bring a fragment to Quabbin and infest that pond. So that's how Ann managed to get us the money. It was invasive plant control money. So our thanks to the town for hosting the money, because that's the only way we could get it. And we were just prepping you to know that we might come begging for some signatures kind of in a hurry when we get approval. Probably mid-April.
Yeah, I think
questions?
That's a fair target for us, what we have to do with Heritage. Yeah.
Any questions before we leave you in peace?
I have the figure though.
You do?
Yep, $24,798.44.
Sounds like what I just said.
That sounds like exactly what you just said.
I know. I'm saying that's great.
Yeah.
We've been working with you guys. Everything has been, I would say, a good example of community working with the town, and the town working with the community. So I want to apologize to Bill because he tried to retire and I wouldn't let him.
So I guess our last thought is to thank you all for, you know, the time and effort you have donated to the town to keep us running, whatever that's worth. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm sorry if it sounds like a goat rodeo to get everything done last minute, but it sounds like we're all on the same page even on that at this point. And I really appreciate it.
We'd like to tell you, thank you both, Gary and Bill, but I'd like to tell you that that's how things happen last minute. You know, historically, we're used to that mode. So, you know, certainly by that time, there'll be a new member of the Board of Selectmen. So hopefully, you know, Kelly and Rob will be primed. So it should be an easy thing to sort of move forward with Nicole. So.
Yeah, well, from the point of view of a town citizen, thank you for helping herd us cats. It doesn't seem, I know it's not easy because I do it on a smaller scale with another board. So thanks. Thank you, Nicole.
Thank you all. And nice to meet you, Nicole and Kelly. And, you know, I appreciate everything you guys have done. And we hope we make everybody proud of this whole situation here.
You can come canoeing.
Yeah, take a kayak up.
Yeah,
all right, we're going to leave you. Thanks.
Thank you both.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is the annual election warrant for April 10, 2023. April 10, 2023 from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. And I think Ryan is on. Ryan, did you want to say something relative to this?
I don't know if he's on, Julie.
I thought he was the 774 number, but maybe not.
I think that's Marty.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong though.
Nope, that's okay. So is this, Nicole, we just need to approve the actual time of the election?
Yeah, the date and the time.
Okay, because we haven't seen the annual election warrant yet, correct?
Yeah, he emailed it to us
Yeah, right, and sent it to everybody.
Okay.
because he does need signatures sooner than later, he said.
By the end of the month.
Just give me 1 second.
Mhm.
Have you both reviewed it?
I did. Yeah, he asked if we would sign as soon as possible so he could post as once ballots come in, he must mail them out.
Okay, so let me just quickly read it. Commonwealth of Mass, Town of Hardwick, annual town election warrant, April 10, 2023, County of Worcester, to the town clerk and constables, Town of Hardwick, greetings. In the name of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, you're hereby required to notify and warn the inhabitants of the town of Hardwick qualified to vote in town affairs to meet at the Hardwick Elementary School, 76 Schoolhouse Drive in the village of Gilbertville on Monday, April 10, 2023, then and there to give their votes for the following offices: town clerk, 1 3 years, selectman 1 3 years, assessor 1 3 years, K through 12 Quabbin Regional School committee member 1 3 years, 1 meaning the number of open, 1 for 1 year, Board of Health member 1 for 3 years, Page Memorial Library trustee 2 positions for 3 years, Page Agricultural Fund trustee 1 for 5 years, moderator 1 for 3 years, planning board member 1 for 3 years, and 1 for 1 year. The polls will be open at 10 o'clock in the morning and will close at 8 o'clock in the evening. Further, you're directed to serve this warrant by posting attested copies thereof in each of the post offices in said Hardwick 7 days at least before the time of said election. Hereof, and fail not to make due return of this warrant with your doings thereon to the town clerk on or before the time of said election, given under our hands this 13th day of March, presumably signed by Julie, Rob, and Kelly, and then the posting. So if we are okay with that, can I request a motion to approve the annual town election warrant for Monday, April 10, 2023, to be held at the Hardwick Elementary School, the hours of 10 o'clock in the morning to 8 p.m. in the evening, with the offices as read.
I will make a motion as stated by Julie Quink for the annual election warrant.
Second that.
Moved and seconded. So Bill, you have your hand up. Is this relative to the motion?
It is, and maybe I misheard something, but when you described the planning board openings, did you say 1 or 2 3-year terms? Because there are 2.
There is just 1 for 3 years and 1 for 1 year.
Yet the planning board has papers in for the 2 positions of the incumbents, both Jenna and Harry. So I think there are 2 of those.
No, I think
there are 2 positions.
Eric, yeah.
One's a 3-year, one's a 1 year.
The 1 year is the one that I pulled papers for to fill Eric Valheim's seat on his resignation, and yet the other 2 are both 3-year terms held now by Jenna and by Harry, and they both have pulled papers. So I just want to check that out, but I believe that's what's the case.
I wonder if we can get Ryan.
Let me see if I can.
You gonna try to text him, Julie?
I will.
It had been before on the announcement, election notices and so forth, but I don't see them on the website now.
Thanks for bringing that up, Bill.
Sure.
Julie, I don't know if if Marty's on the call for the opera funding.
Yeah, so maybe we can.
And he may want to take a nap before the weather hits the fan.
Yep. So, so let's defer the vote. We will need to go back and re-motion. So let's pull for procedural. Can you rescind your motion so we can go back and redo it?
I make a motion to rescind my motion. I will rescind that.
Rob, are you seconding? Okay, so that's been moved and seconded. All in favor on rescinding Kelly's motion? Aye. Oh, sorry, call the roll. Kelly?
Aye, yes.
Rob?
Aye.
And Julie's yes. Okay, so with regard to, we're going to take the agenda out of order a little. We are going now down to, I believe, the discussion and or vote relative to ARPA to come back to the annual election warrant when we have clarification. So I believe we have in our packet a quote for a chipper. A Moorbark, is that how you say it? Did you guys see that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. I just don't know if Marty wants to unmute himself. Or if Nicole, maybe you can unmute him.
She can't. I'm the host.
Okay.
So I can ask him to unmute, but he's got to unmute himself. Lori's on also. Maybe
Lori's here.
Lori, is that I think Marty's on, but is that something that you can speak to, or should we talk to Marty about this?
I can try to speak if Marty can't unmute or no one can unmute him. I'll do my best.
Yeah, let me just ask him to unmute. Yeah, I can't.
Does he need to *6 it?
Yeah, I think, right, he's on his phone, it looks like.
There he is.
All right, I'm here.
Hi, Marty.
I was doing the floor. That's all. Yes, so it's a Mobac. I didn't get other bids on the Mobac because United controls everything. The Bandit was much higher, and actually they didn't even send a written quote. I talked to them about it, and we're buying it through state bid, so we don't need to get other quotes.
And we had talked about this at one of our last meetings, and we were waiting for a quote.
You did.
Yeah.
You were waiting. Well, yep. And that's it. So it's originally $63,500. They're going to give us $13,500 for our old one, which we used the crap out of since I've been there, and they're giving us a decent price on it. So, where we're at.
Do we know what we have left in ARPA? Nicole, you're muted.
It's because I keep coughing. I looked it up. It's 596,852.
Okay. I'm comfortable with this. If Marty needs this.
It'll make our lives a lot easier. We're fighting with a chipper that only takes a 4-inch piece. So we're dicing stuff up, everything else. I need somewhere to make up time. And I'm hoping this is one of the spots.
I don't have an issue with it. Rob?
I'm good with it. So basically, you're looking for $50,000 out of ARPA.
I'm looking for $50,000. Yes, sir.
Do you think that will? Does it need to be like registered or anything like that? That we should allocate additional funds for?
No, it does. It needs to be registered, but we don't pay for any registrations.
Okay. Julie, do you want a motion? Oh,
Please.
sorry, Marty. Yes, for a motion?
Yes.
Okay. I would make a motion to approve $50,000 from opera funding for the 2022 Moorbach chipper, per the quote that we have in our paperwork for this evening's meeting from Marty.
Second that.
Okay, so the motion was made by Kelly, seconded by Rob. Any other discussion on the motion? Hearing none, I will call for a vote. Kelly?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
And Julie is a yes. Thank you, Marty.
Thank you.
Go get some rest.
Stay safe.
I'll try. Eric? Bye.
Okay, so in the meantime, Ryan has messaged back. Can we go back and revisit? So thank you, Bill, for the clarification. That is accurate. So let me I will not read the whole thing again, but let's go through the offices. So town clerk is one opening for 3 years. Selectmen is one opening for 3 years. Assessor is one opening for 3 years. K to 12 Quabbin Regional School Committee member is one opening for 3 years, one office for 3 years, and one office for 1 year. Board of Health member, one office for 3 years. Page Memorial Library trustee, 2 offices for 3 years. Page Agricultural Fund trustee, 1 office for 5 years. Moderator, 1 office for 3 years. Planning board member, there are 2 offices for 3 years and 1 office for 1 year. Everything else is the same in the motion. The polls, 10 a.m. open, 8 p.m. close, April 10th, 2023 at the Hardwick Elementary School.
I would make a motion to approve the annual election warrant for the election to be held on April 10th, 2023 from 10 to 8 at the Hardwick Elementary School as read for open offices by Julie Quink.
Second.
Okay, Kelly made the motion, seconded by Rob. Any other discussion on the annual town election warrant? Hearing none, I will call for a vote. Kelly?
Yes.
Rob?
Yeah.
And Julie is a yes. There will be an updated warrant in our box for signature. So if you can, I don't know the time frame on it.
Probably not tomorrow.
I would say probably not. So give it a couple days, and if you can both stop and sign, that'd be great.
Okay.
Next item on the agenda is other new business. I'm not sure we have any other new business. I think we already tackled the discussion and or vote relative to ARPA funding, unless we have anything else, Nicole? No. Okay. Committee reports are in your packet. Have you had a chance to review them? If you have any questions that we need to follow up on? No?
I'm good.
I am as well, Rob.
I'm good.
Okay. Miscellaneous correspondence, Nicole, do we have things you needed to advise us on based on that item?
No.
Okay. Town administrator report.
So USDA is always, we start with that. And last week, because today's Monday, we had a meeting with DPC and with KP Law to talk about how betterments should be handled. And their conclusion was that each project should probably, would have its own betterment. So the pumping station would have a betterment, the Gilbertville treatment plant would have a betterment, and then the wheelwright treatment would also have a betterment. It's in it itself. I spoke with Lori Stevens she's updating this PowerPoint presentation to present to you guys. And by law, she had said that betterments can only be assessed on a loan, not a grant. So we're probably going to be out of the grant money by the time we even start with Gilbertville. So that's completely still up in the air, something I'm completely unfamiliar with. So we don't really have any answers for that yet, but we are working on getting you all of the options for you to make a decision soon. The pre-construction meeting for the pump station, it says it's going to be March 15th at 8:30, but it's actually going to be March 22nd at 8:30 because of the weather. And the second project is going out to bid. It's in the paper today. And we've been working on an RFP for oversight. And I sent you
I just want to back up the second project. It's not the whole project that's in the paper. I thought it was just the equipment procurement process.
Yeah, it's
not the whole. The plants have not gone to bid yet.
I can pull it up. I basically just copy and pasted it into Combi, so I don't know exactly what he had in there.
It's just so there's certain things on projects that an owner or an engineer will say, we want you to use this. And so that list of equipment and materials has gone out to bid. So it's like a pre-bid to like the big project bid.
Okay.
It's like a pre-step. I just don't want people to think that the whole project
goes
to bid yet.
Thanks for the clarification, Kelly.
So working on the bid for oversight, I kind of took what DPC said that they would do after the project is built and tried to sort of make it into an RFP. I also asked USDA basically, if they have something like this that we could, sort of mimic or just adapt to the town. So still working on that too. And so now just general town. In my report, and it should probably be an ongoing because I think we already talked about it, but the insurance agency has to come out and inspect town buildings that have a value of over $500,000 on them, which is why I'd hoped that Marty and Scott will go, because I believe the treatment plants and, the big buildings, somebody thought that we were going to, because the way it's in the paper, somebody thought we were going to go and to everybody's house or anybody's house or anything that's over 500,000, but it's just the town-owned buildings, and it's just for insurance purposes. We had another valve let go in our old boiler. Same problem, same issues, same sort of flooding, but we believe it was a different zone. So other places flooded, like my room didn't, so I'm still good, but then the Selectmen's room did, and there's some damage in the ceiling, and then, we found it at 8 o'clock in the morning, and by 10 o'clock, the restoration company was here, and the town, we all had already actually sucked up all the water, so it hadn't gone on as long as the first time, but it's still very unfortunate, and we're dehumidifiers going everywhere, and we're all displaced again. So it's really unfortunate, but we're on it faster, and hopefully it'll just be much faster to fix. And it's very unfortunate to see that. I mean, a brand new ceiling. Hi. Okay. People coming in at 7:49. And new flooring get ruined. It's just really unfortunate. But what I won't do is allow them to take everything out before we actually have all the material, because that was a big issue with, us waiting for the material to come in to displace these offices again. So we're just, I'm going to hopefully just turn it around much faster.
So with that, Nicole, I mean, in your report, it talked about, you don't know how to ensure this doesn't happen again without replacement. I mean, this sounds like this would be a good candidate for ARPA funding.
Yeah.
At some point, I'm concerned that our insurer is not going to want to insure us anymore. This is the third or fourth big incident with the building. I mean,
Apparently this is the fourth time.
should we be asking for a quote to replace that system and just be proactive about it and at least know what's involved with replacing it?
Yes, absolutely. We actually last week had, which is very unfortunate because we, ever since the first one is what, we really wanted to get on it. And I thought a green community grant would be a great project. And unfortunately they came out the day after the flood. So, I don't know if they would have found it, or if we would have been able to stop it. But, so they were here on Tuesday and we went through the building and they went through the fire station and the highway department, and they're going to come back with us with some quotes for, not quotes because it would be a grant, but to hopefully get a new boiler chiller and do some work at the fire station and the highway department, put some heat where there's no heat, and do some good insulation at the fire department.
Great.
But in the meantime, I can certainly if we're going to pay for it ourselves, I could certainly get some quotes.
I think it's good to probably just know what our options are and come up with the best, the best way to approach it. Just be proactive about it.
Yes, I definitely wouldn't want to leave it alone, and I am waiting for BEC to give me some options on, a quick fix. And I even thought, because what happens is this float is getting stuck because it's dirty. I don't know exactly how it goes, and Rob probably does, but and then the valve gets stuck and then it overpressurizes. So, I thought, can we is it as simple as putting a filter in so the sediment doesn't, I don't know. So I'm waiting on those answers. Certainly nothing that I have any expertise on.
Thank you, Nicole.
Okay, so last Monday night, actually, I was coming home from the school committee meeting, and I saw a bunch of water at the top of the hill, Upper Church and Church, and was hoping it was snow melt, but it wasn't. A fire line was leaking, so that's Friday. That fix happened with the coordination of our departments and the contractor, so that's all set. I got a call Friday. The CDBG grant that we applied for with Ware was not accepted because they didn't get it in on time. Apparently they were about 5 minutes late. So they've tried to submit everything, and they've reached out to DHCD to try and get this funded. I haven't heard back. It's very unfortunate. I don't know why. I have no answer on why they waited until the very last minute. So right now, we don't have that road. We don't have those social services for next year. So Guardian Energy was the one that came to do the assessment to possibly get a green community grant for a new boiler. Let's see. Thursday, March 9th was the budget public hearing for Quabog Regional School District, and the proposal is on their website. Wednesday, March 15th is Pathfinder's budget public hearing, so we'll have those numbers better on Wednesday night. And Wednesday we're meeting with National Grid. When I say we, it's just me and Angie, meeting with National Grid to discuss street light options, either changing to LED. We're on some sort of special rate, which is more expensive than it could be. So anyway, I don't really know a lot about that. We have an actual meeting with Joanne DeRose and Pam Hill. And the town election is April 3rd, as we know. And then the ongoing are just things that we...
Nicole, the election is April 10th.
Sorry, April 10th. It says it right there, and I don't know what I was looking at. April 10th. The website's up, like I had said. I did go to a announcement on Friday at the Deerfield Williams Sugar Shack with the governor and the lieutenant governor. They announced that there'll be a rural affairs director, so they're going to try to represent the rural towns and do better at advocating for us. I don't know where their office is going to be. I will probably imagine not anywhere around here, but that. And Angie gave her notice today, so we'll be having to go out and look for somebody again. That's it for me. Unless there's something in the ongoing that you wanted to talk about.
Did she give a 2 week or? A
No,
week?
she's not giving a time. She wants to help find somebody, or at least to stay here until we have somebody.
Okay.
Okay. Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is really unfortunate for me.
Okay. Well,
The
hopefully.
problem I think with this position is it's not benefited, so I think that's dissuades people from applying. But we'll see. Let's hope.
No, we'll keep our fingers crossed. So you're gonna put that posting out, Nicole?
Yeah. Tomorrow, I guess. I'll put it out on our website and somewhere. I'll try to get it. I typically don't do like MMA or something like that for an assistant position, but just locally, even word of mouth or something. Anybody looking for a job? We have a lot of fun. And we also have to put, which is, it's funded and it's there, just nobody is working there right now, is the second youth center position. There's 2 positions open and it's only Lori Desjardins. So those 2 positions and the foreman. So the foreman for the highway is not filled either. Those are our 3 open positions.
Okay. Okay. Any questions or anything for Nicole on the town administrator report? Okay. On anything under signatures and approvals, Nicole?
The license, so I'll leave it in the box if you guys could sign the Leo Tamkis license.
Okay.
Okay.
Selectmen roundtable, anything that we want to talk about in the Selectmen roundtable? I didn't miss anything on the agenda, right? I believe I'm using the right agenda. Kelly or Rob, anything you want to put under the Selectmen roundtable? No? Okay.
Can't think of. I can't think of anything.
So, in terms of the personnel policy, when is that coming through? When is that coming in front of the board? Did we decide the last meeting in March?
Yeah, that's what I didn't get a chance. Angie did finish it, so it's finished, but I hadn't gotten a chance to do the page numbers. It just wasn't complete for me to put before you guys, but it is now, so I'd like to put it on the second meeting in March, which is what we discussed in the personnel committee, because we were having the finance meeting tonight, so we didn't want to put too much on this agenda.
My mind might be a little mushy, so thank you and sorry. There is some things coming up in the chat. I don't know if you can see them. So we'll just take that under advisement, Judy. We did have the visitors' comments at the beginning, so you, Kelly and Rob, you can see the chat.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else under Selectmen roundtable?
I can't think of anything, Julie.
I can't either, but I'm also
I'm right there. Yeah. No, I don't. I can't think of anything.
okay. Last item is adjournment. Is there a Nicole, and we're set? We're good?
Yes, thank you.
Nicole's probably anxious to be done because she doesn't feel well. So, in the interest of getting her home, she's sick again. So
I'm okay. I'm okay. I did want to just make.
I'm sorry, and I don't mean to, but we had said we were gonna do the zoning bylaws for this meeting, and I know I just looked down and they're in front of me, and I know it's not on the agenda, but I know we said we would get our comments or anything back to the planning board. So I'm not sure that we want to tackle it now at 8:00, but maybe we should definitely make sure it's on the next meeting for them, so that we can just respond to them quickly.
Yep.
Sorry, it was right in front of me, and
Nope, thank you. So the other thing maybe is for the next meeting, I don't know, certainly we'll try to have, maybe we do another quick budget review of, or at least share out the analysis, the expenditures and such of what we do. I'll try to have that ready for the next meeting.
let me know if I can help, Julie. I'm happy to help.
Okay. Anything else that we should be considering on the agenda for the next time? Okay.
That's all I've got.
Okay. So now I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
So it's been moved and seconded. Kelly?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Julie is a yes. We are adjourning at 8. It looks like 8:01.